Hello everyone, I am Evely, and today I'm going to tell you a story. Enjoy your viewing. The storm had raged outside for hours as the small research team huddled in the isolated mountain lab. Dr. Elena Morris, the expedition's de facto leader, studied the erratic readings on her instruments. Something was off, far off. They had come to study the temporal anomalies detected deep beneath the earth, but nothing could have prepared them for what was about to occur. It began with a low, unearthly hum. The lab's power flickered as if the very air was vibrating with anticipation. The group, Elena, her assistant Jonas, the skeptical engineer Mark, and the quiet botanist Lila, gathered around a hastily assembled machine designed to tap into the Earth's ancient energies. Its dials spun erratically, and then, with a burst of blinding white light and a sound reminiscent of shattering glass, reality splintered. In an instant, the team found themselves no longer in the sterile, cramped confines of the lab, but in a sprawling, primordial wilderness. Towering ferns and colossal cycads loomed over them, their massive fronds rustling in a wind that carried a scent of decay and damp earth. The sky was a bruise of deep purples and sickly greens, and the air seemed heavier, charged with an ominous energy. At first, the shock of their displacement was numbing. They stumbled through the dense undergrowth, trying to comprehend the impossibility. They had been hurled back into the Jurassic period. Jonas clutched his recorder like a lifeline, while Mark's mind raced to rationalize the phenomenon. But nothing in their training could have prepared them for the horror that lay ahead. Their survival depended on finding shelter before nightfall. They set up camp near a shallow stream, its water clear yet eerily still. As twilight bled into darkness, the group discovered that they were not alone. Distant roars echoed through the night, punctuated by the sudden, blood-curdling screeches of unseen creatures. Elena, driven by both scientific curiosity and a primal need to survive, insisted they press onward toward a rocky outcrop that promised some semblance of protection. The following morning, the group awoke to a gruesome sight. Large, clawed footprints pressed deep into the mud, leading away from their camp. Fear mingled with confusion. Lila whispered, "Something watched us." Their nerves frayed as every snapped twig and rustle in the ferns became a potential harbinger of death. As they trekked through a labyrinth of ancient vegetation, nature itself seemed to rebel. Vines coiled around their ankles as if trying to drag them into the ground, and thick mists rolled in, obscuring vision and muffling sound. It was during one such moment of disorientation that the first of many unexpected horrors struck. From the fog emerged a hulking silhouette, a creature with a sinewy, elongated body, scales glistening under the pale light. Its eyes, deep and unblinking, locked onto the intruders with a predatory glint. Mark reacted first, fumbling for his makeshift weapon, but the creature was faster. In a blur of motion, it lunged, its massive jaws snapping shut where his head had been moments before. A muffled scream echoed as Mark fell, his body crumpling beneath the beast's crushing bite. The team recoiled in terror, and as they scrambled backward, the creature melted back into the mist, leaving behind only a trail of blood and a stark reminder of the danger that lurked in every shadow. The loss of Mark was a devastating blow. His lifeless form, half hidden by ferns and shrouded in mist, served as a grim omen of the relentless brutality of this ancient world. Elena's determination hardened. She knew that to survive they would have to understand their new environment, and quickly. Every sound, every movement in the periphery of their vision was a potential threat. As they ventured deeper into the Jurassic jungle, the oppressive atmosphere grew heavier. The canopy above was so dense that only fractured beams of light touched the forest floor, casting eerie, shifting patterns that played tricks on the mind. Jonas's voice trembled as he recorded each moment, his words laced with a dread that could not be suppressed. "We are not alone here. The very air vibrates with a malevolence that is almost palpable." Little did they know, this was only the beginning. The forest held secrets older than time itself, secrets that would unravel their sanity piece by piece. And as the shadows lengthened, an ominous, rhythmic sound began to rise from the depths of the jungle. a sound that foretold the arrival of something far worse than any creature they had encountered so far. The creeping realization dawned on them that the true horror of their predicament was not merely surviving in a hostile prehistoric world, but the unraveling of time and fate itself. With every step, the jungle revealed new terrors, and every breath seemed to carry with it the promise of another unspeakable loss. In the aftermath of Mark's brutal demise, the surviving trio, Elena, Jonas, and Lila, pressed forward through the impenetrable Jurassic wilderness. The oppressive canopy swallowed sunlight and hope alike, while the incessant, ghostly calls of unseen creatures served as a relentless reminder of their precarious existence. Every step was fraught with terror, and every rustle of leaves echoed with the memory of their fallen comrade. The group's journey led them deeper into the tangled maze of ancient ferns and colossal trees. With every hesitant footfall, the air grew heavier with a strange, metallic tang, as if the land itself were reacting to their presence. Jonas, his hands trembling as he clutched his recorder, documented each unsettling moment. His voice, once filled with scientific curiosity, now dripped with despair. "We are trapped in a world where every shadow conceals death." Days blurred together as they evaded relentless predators lurking behind gnarled trunks and within the swirling mists. They discovered remnants of previous struggles, a circle of scorched earth, bizarre claw marks carved into stone, and echoes of terrified cries that vanished as soon as they appeared. The relentless environment wore away at their morale and sanity. Elena's determination to lead, once a beacon of hope, now faltered under the weight of an unyielding terror. One evening, while huddled together in a makeshift shelter beneath a rocky overhang, an eerie silence fell. The usual cacophony of alien sounds was replaced by a deathly hush. Lila, eyes wide with dread, whispered, "It's as if the forest is holding its breath." In that disquieting pause, a distant, rhythmic thumping emerged, low and methodical, as though something enormous was treading slowly across the ancient earth. The sound vibrated through the stone beneath them, its resonance echoing in their chests. As darkness deepened, the trio ventured out to investigate the source of the unsettling beat. Their path wound through dense underbrush until they reached a vast clearing illuminated by an otherworldly glow. In the center stood a colossal structure of interlocking stone and twisted roots, a ruin that defied explanation, ancient beyond any known civilization. Its architecture was both mesmerizing and repulsive, adorned with grotesque carvings that depicted scenes of agony and monstrous beings entwined with nature. Here, the thumping was loudest, as if a heartbeat of the world itself pulsed from within. Drawn by a morbid compulsion, they approached the ruin. The air vibrated with an uncanny energy, and every instinct screamed to flee, yet something kept them rooted in place. Jonas's recorder captured disjointed whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the structure, phrases in a tongue long forgotten. As they stepped into a yawning corridor inside, the temperature plummeted and the light faded to a sickly twilight. Elena's scientific mind raced to reconcile the impossible, but even she could not explain the palpable malevolence that shrouded the ruin. Inside, the passageways twisted into a labyrinth that defied geometry. Flickering shadows played tricks on their eyes, and every echo hinted at hidden terrors. Suddenly, the corridor opened into an immense cavern where the air was thick with a toxic mist. In the center of the chamber lay an enormous, pulsating monolith that seemed to emit the rhythmic beat they had heard outside. The ground quivered with each pulsation, as if the monolith were the living heart of this forsaken realm. Before they could react, the monolith's surface began to crack and ooze a viscous, inky substance. From the fissures emerged spectral forms, distorted, anguished visages of creatures that had long been extinct, their features twisted into expressions of eternal torment. The apparitions wailed in a dissonant chorus that shattered the fragile silence, their voices melding into a cacophony of despair. Elena's eyes widened in horror as she realized these were not mere illusions but echoes of the past, released from the depths of time by the unnatural energies coursing through the ruin. The spectral figures surged forward, their touch draining color and life. Jonas staggered, his limbs stiffening as if gripped by invisible hands. Lila's scream pierced the oppressive gloom, a sound of pure, unadulterated terror. In the ensuing chaos, the three desperately attempted to retreat. But the labyrinthine corridors shifted around them, sealing off any path of escape. The ruin itself seemed to come alive, its walls pulsating in time with the monolith's dark heartbeat. Then, as if the culmination of all their nightmares had coalesced into a single, crushing moment, the very ground beneath them erupted in a violent, earth-shattering tremor. A cavernous roar reverberated through the stone, and from deep beneath the floor, a colossal maw of darkness opened. The floor split apart, revealing an abyss lined with rows of razor-sharp crystalline formations. In an instant, the spectral forces and the monstrous void merged in an unholy convergence. A torrent of inky, corrosive energy exploded upward, swallowing Jonas and Lila in a flash of unrelenting horror. Elena, paralyzed by shock and grief, could only watch as the ruin, and with it, the remnants of her team, was consumed by the chasm. The ancient stone structure groaned as if lamenting the tragedy, its pulsations quickening to a feverish pace. In the final, heart-stopping moment, as she attempted to flee, Elena realized the terrible truth. The accidental time travel that had brought them to this primeval epoch was not a miraculous scientific breakthrough but a curse, a trap set by forces beyond human comprehension. The catastrophic rupture of time itself was collapsing around her. As the cavern trembled with the finality of impending doom, an unexpected, shattering scream erupted from the darkness. A sound not of any creature in the Jurassic past, but a human cry, laced with the terror of pure existential dread. It echoed through the abyss, a ghastly prelude to the revelation that time, fate, and monstrous energies had conspired in a single, terrible twist. In that final moment, as the world around her disintegrated into chaos and darkness, Elena understood that their survival had been nothing more than a cruel illusion. The past had reached out and claimed them, leaving behind nothing but an eternal, unspeakable void where hope once flickered. See you in the next video. Don't forget to support me.